Hello there and welcome to CNR Extra on City TV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Nii Lartey. Coming up, Black Stars winger Christian Achu pulled out alive from rubble following devastating earthquake that hit Turkey yesterday.
We got the best news of the day from Atson this morning. Atson was pulled alive from the rubble and taken to hospital.
Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta warns that non-participation in the domestic debt exchange program by individual bondholders will prolong efforts by governments to revive the economy.
1. Expects the full participation of institutional stakeholders and mobilization of all qualified investors. And 2. Encourages eligible individual holders to voluntarily tender their holdings.
And pensioners picket at the Finance Ministry to reiterate demand for complete exemption from their funds from the domestic debt exchange program.
Exemption from DDEP.
Even if government gives you new terms, you still won't accept.
That is the only term we understand. Total exemption. You've exempted pensioners, you've exempted pension funds. We are pensioners. Take us out.
And later, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, announces resolution of challenges following the reshuffling of its leadership in Parliament.
Challenges that we've gone through in the past few days have produced very beneficial results.
It was about process improvement and the right of the caucus to be consulted.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV. It's a conversational show, and you can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204 4470 and 33, or you can join us on YouTube as we stream there live on CityTube. In studio as Nii Lartey and Evans Ofochumanso. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Philip. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. You are joining us for the first time on this show.
Exactly.
You are welcome officially.
Thank you so much, and it's for a good reason.
For a good reason.
Exactly.
Of course, of course.
On that note, let's bring you the very first story. As of yesterday, we didn't hear of good news coming from Turkey concerning the earthquake situation that happened there. One of our own Black Stars winger, Christian Achu, was trapped in the rubble there. But then he's been retrieved alive. Let's bring you that insert that tells us details of whatever happened in Turkey yesterday.
Rescue missions are ongoing for missing Black Stars winger Christian Achu, who has been trapped under rubble following a 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Turkey. Reports from Turkey indicate that several of his teammates were dramatically rescued from their homes after the earthquake struck at 4 a.m. local time. But Achu and the club's sporting director remain missing at their respective homes. City Sports' Evans Ofochumanso has more.
Christian Achu joined Hataya Sport after leaving Saudi Arabia club Al Raid last summer. Barely a day after, he scored his debut goal for Hataya Sport against Kasımpaşa in the Turkish Super League. The Black Stars winger has been hit with a tragedy. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake that hit the city of Kahramanmaraş, where the team is based, has led to the 31-year-old buried under rubble in Turkish horror earthquake. Rescuers are desperately looking to find the Ghana international and the team's sporting director, Tana Savut, who are yet to be found after the apartments they were living collapsed. The club's technical director, Volkan Demirel, issued an appeal for help on his social media account. He said, "Things are very bad here. Help. We can't reach people. Whoever can come now. We can't reach anyone." According to the vice president of Turkish club Hatayspor, Mustafa Uzat, Achu and Savut are still under the rebels as a search team continuously works on finding them. Now, Christian Achu was trained in Ghana by Cheetah FC and Feyenoord Football Academy at Gumwafete in the central region of Ghana, which has now been changed to the West Africa Football Academy in Sogakope in the Volta region. Achu rose to global prominence as he began his career with Portuguese club FC Porto at the age of 17 from Cheetah FC in Ghana. He spent the 2011-2012 season on loan at Rio Ave before he was signed by Chelsea for £3.5 million in 2013. The winger was sent on loan at Vitesse Arnhem, Everton, AFC Bournemouth and Malaga. After spending the 2016-2017 season on loan at Newcastle United, he completed a permanent transfer to the club in May 2017. Achu moved to Al Raid in the Saudi League for the 2021-2022 campaign. The winger at the 2015 AFCON, where he won the best player and the goal of the tournament. Since his debut in 2012 for Ghana, he has played 65 matches and scored 9 goals. Achu has represented the Black Stars at the 2014 FIFA World Cup and 2 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments. He helped Ghana finish as runners-up at the 2015 AFCON.
So let's take you to Turkey, and my colleague Umaru Sanda earlier spoke to some residents affected by the earthquake. One of such is Dr. Mohammed Samsun, a Nigerian doctor based in Hataya.
It affected a city called Iskandrum. It's just around 50 to 60 kilometers out of Osmania. And then we have another city called Adana. It affected a little. But there is a major one city around 150 kilometers or more. It's called Hatay. Hatay, even now, I just have a call from a friend. They are not even getting any help because way to pass through there. The hospital have gone down, the general hospital over there for the government, some of the police area have gone down. Like they don't have a means. Now, even a means of entering there is a problem. And the problem is that this thing happened in a winter section. We are experiencing a cold, like now it's snowing. You cannot move anywhere. The snow is affecting us, and at the same time, wind is affecting us, and then this thing occurs at the same time.
How is your family?
Not bad. For now, I take my family. They're inside the car. We're trying to move out of the city so that we can go to a safe location.
Where is safe?
Everybody is panicking. They are not well. Everybody is panicking. They couldn't find it difficult. The children are crying, like they're thinking this is the end of the world.
And where are you running to?
Now we are heading to Ankara. It's the capital city, around 400 kilometers away from Osmania.
And you believe that is a safe place to go to?
We hope so, because that is the center of Turkey, one. Secondly, our embassy is situated in Ankara. Then we want to go back to Ankara and see how the situation will be.
You say that you are headed towards Ankara, which is your administrative capital. You are fleeing the scene of devastation. I believe you are not the only one doing this. You would have encountered several other persons fleeing on the road, or the roads are clear?
Traffic is so hectic because right now, Micah, with the situation of the winter, Micah, if I'm going, I cannot speed more than 20 to 30 because there is a lot of traffic, there is a lot of people going around. Even some are trying to see if they can move there with their own barefooted to move out of those areas. Talking of the people who are having cars. But right now, everybody is evacuating because when I'm coming in the morning, I encounter many people are coming from Istanbul, from Ankara, from Eskişehir. They're just coming to pick their own people. Some of them, they have a relative. Everybody is coming to pick his own people, and they get out of the city. But still, we have people there. They are frustrated. They are just trying to see how they can get help from the non-government organization if they can leave the city. Because it's not everybody have the opportunity to have his own private car to move out of the city. Because most of the local community buses, they are not working. Now, most of the commercial buses and other people within the government, They are trying to go to those areas so that they can rescue their own people. Because we have most of the buildings that have come down, a lot of people have been stuck inside the building. Because in Usmania, there is a particular building I know, it's a 9-story building. It comes down there is more than like 100 to 200 people living in that area, in that building. I think they said for now they just moved not more than 5 people. Some of them are stuck inside.
And still on that story, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, and other prominent Ghanaians have been reacting to the sad news. My colleague Hansen Ajuman has been monitoring this. Hansen, if you can hear me, what can you tell us?
So, Vivian, usually when disasters of this nature happen, you get leaders across the country coming out expressing their condolence, and in some instances they will even express support to countries and people who have been affected by such incidents. But in this particular case, because that we're having a popular footballer and the person of Christian Achu, not only are the leaders in Ghana and of course both of government and also of the opposition expressing condolence to the people of Turkey, they are also wishing that the rescue team would be able to get these will be able to go through the rubbles and be able to rescue Christian Achu. The point they are making basically is to ask Ghanaians to pray for Christian Achu. And President Akufo-Addo has released a statement on his various social media handles, and it reads, "On behalf of the government and people of Ghana, I extend heartfelt condolences to the governments and people of Turkey and Syria on the devastation and the tragic loss of lives occasioned by Monday's earthquake. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Our hearts and prayers go out to the survivors, and we pray that our fellow Ghanaian Christian Achu is found safe and sound." In line with the same theme, former President John Dramani Mahama says, "Let's continue to pray for our brother Christian Achu and his club director. The city is in the region affected by the earthquake. Let's continue to pray that God spare their lives." Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also given a statement on his social media handle, and it states, "My thoughts and prayers are with our brother Christian Achu, all Ghanaians in Turkey and Syria, and the people in these countries following the earthquake. May God protect them all." We also have the 2020 running mate of former President John Dramani Mahama in the person of Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. She's also saying, "I urge us all to spare some thoughts and prayers for our brother Christian Achu, his team's director, the Ghanaian community, and the people of Turkey and Syria who are currently under the mercy of the wreckage of a devastating earthquake. Sincere condolences to friends, families, and loved ones of departed souls. I pray that the Lord grants you comfort and peace in such difficult times." Now, former Trades and Industry Minister Alan Kojo-Chomanten, who has also made his intentions known to run for the flag bearer position of the New Patriotic Party, has also stated that my prayers are with Ghanaian international player Christian Achu, reportedly among the victims trapped in the earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria. I wait in great hope for the safe recovery of all still unaccounted for, and commiserate with those affected by the disaster. Vivian, these are the many messages that are coming in, but basically some words of hope and admonishment to the Ghanaian community, particularly to pray so that Christian Achu can be rescued and found alive.
So that's my colleague Hansen Ajuman with that report there. And we know that the sports fraternity as well has been reaching out as well, praying that our very own Christian Achu is found. Evans Ofochumanso has more there.
The GFA, in a social media message, wrote, and I quote, We pray for Ghana International, Christian Achu, and victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. We continue with our efforts to establish contact with officials of Hatayspor and the Turkish Football Federation, considering the difficult situation. Our thoughts and prayers are with Christian Achu and our brothers and sisters in Turkey and Syria. We remain hopeful for positive news. Ghana's Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf also wrote, "My thoughts and prayers are with Christian Achu and all those trapped under the rubble in Turkey as a result of the earthquake. May God keep them safe." Christian Achu's former clubs, Chelsea, Newcastle, Malaga and Bournemouth, have sent their support as well. Chelsea FC wrote, "We are praying for you, Christian Achu." For Bournemouth, they tweeted, "Everyone at AFCB is hoping for positive news regarding Christian Achu. Our thoughts are with all affected by the earthquake in Turkey and Syria." Malaha also wrote, "Turkish media reports that Christian Achu, a former Malagista player, is trapped under rubble after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Our thoughts are with him and his family at this time." For Newcastle United, they wrote, "Praying for some positive news. Christian Achu."
The entire nation had Christian Achu in prayers, and also people who were victims of the earthquake in Turkey in prayers. In studio, social media and how it took center stage on social media for that reason. We involved in that calamity in Turkey.
Exactly, Philip. So Turkish journalist, that's Yagis Sabunkoglu, was the few or the earliest people to tweet about the story regarding Christian Achu trapped under a rubble in Turkey. So he tweeted that the earthquake happened at 4 a.m. Turkish time, and that at the time he was tweeting that the building where Achu was sleeping the night before that had collapsed. And so they were absolutely sure that he was trapped under the building there. He was not the only one. He had also indicated that almost of Achu's teammates at his new club, Hatayspor, were all trapped, but there was a quick rescue team, and then everyone in his team was rescued except Achu and the club sporting director, Tana Savut. So these two personalities were the only ones that the rescue mission team could not rescue at that moment where he was tweeting that the incident had happened. We understand that this was a 7.8 magnitude quake happening in Turkey, and as such, Achu was involved in that. So fast forward, other reporters also picked the story. The Sun from the UK, The Guardian were all reporting to confirm that, yes, this had happened to the Black Stars player.
I mean, that particular building that Achu was a resident in there, was he the only team member in there, or he had other teammates who were also involved in this calamity?
So he was there with other teammates, and we understand that he was on the 9th floor of the building when it collapsed, but there were other teammates there as well, alongside the sporting director of the team, Savut, who is, at the moment, as we speak to you, he's not been found yet. He's not been found yet, but the other teammates of Achu have all been evacuated, as we understand, this morning to Adana, another city in Turkey, to be given proper medical that they were looking for after the incident happened, where the players later. So Achu is the latest one to be rescued. Search for those missing, but we understand that several people in Turkey are obviously injured. My sources tell me 15,000 people are injured, over 4,000 are dead and counting, and this happened across the Turkish region of Hatay and also Gaziantep. These are important cities in
Later in the evening, as of yesterday, we had conflicting reports that Achu have been rescued and that he was having some wounds on his right foot and all that. Can you tell us into details what really informed these conflicting reports stating that one section was saying that he's been found, another was saying that he's not been found?
So as the rescue mission was ongoing for the 31-year-old, Irene Palmer is a sport journalist based in Portugal. She works for Abola, a Portuguese publication. So she sent a tweet out there that she has confirmed reports that Achu has been rescued from the rubble. And as such, the story went viral. and then it saw the Sun in the UK, the Guardian, all picking the story to confirm that Achu had been released or has been taken from the wreckage. And then this report was later corroborated also by another Turkish journalist. Her name is Cancel Kemitsis, and she tweeted that she has been in contact with the agent of the player, that's Ruben Robero, since the earthquake, and he has told her that Christian Achu has been pulled out of the wreckage, but is not aware of the state of his health. Also, another Turkish journalist, that Omero, not been pulled out of the a bit since the early hours of the incident, also came out to confirm that yes, at that moment where Abola and the Sun were all saying that Achu had been rescued, his sources were that Achu is still under the rubble and has not been rescued yet. He spoke to the club's vice president, who also confirmed that yes, at the moment where he was tweeting, Achu was not rescued. So that led to little conflicting reports as at yesterday evening.
We'll still come on with a lot of this particular news. As of when you heard that our own Christian Achu was involved in this incident and he was...
Well, it was a really sad one. It was a really sad one. In fact, heart-wrenching if you look at how the development unfolded, getting to know that Christian Achu, one of our very own Black Stars winger, has been trapped in that particular, disaster. And for hours, he could not be found. And then later in the evening, we got to hear that he's been found alive. Later, we also realized that there were conflicting reports. It wasn't the case. Only for us to come this morning for the journalist who broke the story yesterday to confirm that indeed he's been found. And then, some injuries have also been. For me, I was very much enthused about the outpouring of sympathies, especially from the Ghanaian people. Everyone was really touched by this development. It could tell you that, or it tells you everyone
every citizen was in support of
there was this form of unison. Everybody was praying, let's pray and get to hear that Achu has been rescued, and thankfully this is what we have. And so for me, usually when these things happen, everyone will cast his or her mind back to the few relatable moments, and we were told that on Sunday he played, and then even scored in injury time and all that, only for us to hear the following day that this is the form of disaster that has befallen. And so for me, I must say that we really are happy as a people, as a Ghanaian people, that in fact we are just hoping, sympathizing that the injuries will be managed. We know that he's responding to treatment, and so we don't know the extent or the degree of the injury on the right foot as you are being made to understand.
Exactly. So, Evans, if I may ask, how did the
is that they were in contact with officials of Achu's club, Hataya Sport, and also officials heartfelt sympathies to Christian Achu. We had the sports ministry also coming out to do same. Former Black Stars defender Tony Bafo also wrote same, including Achu's former clubs, the likes of Chelsea, there's Newcastle United, Malaha, Bournemouth. They were all expressed the sort of sympathy for the player.
There's a bureau that is going on. What can you tell us about this particular video? We understand that was where Christian Achu was residing before.
Exactly. So this video was shared on social media by one Turkish journalist, Ekrem Kono. He's with Ravospor, and he sent the message that this is where Achu was residing. This is the building where Achu was in when it collapsed. So this, at the moment, that's the live pictures of the place. Wow. Before, after the incident happened to Christian Achu at the early hours of 4 a.m. on Monday. So this is where he was rescued from after the earthquake in Turkey.
Now let's come down to the confirmation of the accurate report that Now, Christian Achu has been rescued, he's alive, and all that. First, Evans, then I come to you, Nii Lartey, as to who exactly, is it the first journalist, the journalist who initially broke it on social media, Yagis? He's the same person who came later to indicate that, well, Christian Achu has been rescued. For that, we all have to be calm with whatever the issue is.
Exactly. So just, I think 6:25 a.m., Yagis tweeted. I think this time around he was very confident in his message on social media after earlier saying that Achu was still under the rubble. But earlier this morning he tweeted firmly in Turkish, with the translation being that Christian Achu has been pulled from the wreckage alive, with an exclamation mark to signify that yes, Achu is now safe and sound. And I tried to collaborate this also by speaking to Ekrem Kono, a Turkish-based journalist as well, on this, and he confirmed to me that yes, Christian Achu was found in the parking lot of the residence where he was staying, and that what he knows is that the columns of the building collapsed and damaged him, but it didn't really get much to him. He only received some blows and fractures somewhere on his body, and that from his sources, they understand that the right leg of the player was transferred to the hospital for medical attention. So that's what he reported in my conversation with him at the moment, that the body of Achu was retrieved and that he received some blows to his body. But the major concern was his right leg, where there was that massive impact. But he couldn't confirm whether the extent of the damage, that's what he said now. And he sent me a message from the manager of the club, Mustafa Uzet, who said that certainly Achu is currently receiving treatment in the hospital, but they don't know the degree of that foot injury. So that's the major concern now as to how impactful the fall was on his right leg. But they believe that certainly he should get better.
Before what we are hoping for the better, but it means that the sports director has not been retrieved yet.
At the moment, yes, at the moment they are still looking for the sporting director, Tana Savut. He's the only last member of the Hataya sport team that cannot be accounted for as we speak now. So, but there's rescue missions ongoing to make sure they get to find him now. But all the players are sure.
Before we come out with more of the details or with this, Yagis, the Turkish journalist, spoke on the this morning on CCTV. Let's bring you that insight.
Unfortunately, the situation is so bad in Hatay also. More than one country around it on Turkey. 8 teams are working, but so many buildings have been destroyed. That sport is insufficient right now. We got the best news of the day from Atsu on this morning. Atsu was pulled alive from the rubble and taken to hospital.
Okay.
From now on, we are waiting good news from Atsu, but he rescued after 26 hours later. Therefore, his condition is so good but critical. He emerged from the rubble, and also, as you know, sporting director Taner Savut was under the rubble. He is neighbor of Christian Atsu, but he is still under the rubble, and search efforts continue. We look forward to it, my friends.
Okay. Do you have any updates from the hospital yet on Achu?
Connection was so terrible in the Hatay. Sometimes I try to reach Hatay Sport Board to get new information from Christian Atsu, but I didn't because of...
So you had the Yagis, who is a Turkish journalist. He broke the news about Christian Achu being beneath the rubbles, and also confirmed again that he's been rescued. Evans, before we end with you, can you tell us the life journey of Christian Achu when he in Turkey? Let's put it that way.
So basically, after having quite a topsy-turvy season in Europe, he joined Porto from Cheetah FC here in Ghana. United. So after several years in Europe, he then had a move to Saudi Arabia to play for Al Raid, and then after just one season there, he moved to his new club in Turkey, Hatayspor, just last summer. So from that time, he was just involved in his third game just on Sunday evening, where he scored a lovely free kick in 97th minute free kick for Hatayspor to win the game over Kasim Pasa in the Turkish league. So it was sort of a moment for Achu to try and celebrate his first goal for the club just when the earthquake happened to him in that regard. But clearly in Turkey, he was loved by the fans there. They were just trying to absorb what they are getting from the Black Stars winger, his left foot magic and what he brings on board to the team. So it was his third game for the club, and the fans were just enjoying the goal he has scored. The official Twitter page for Hatayspor had the image of Achu controlling the ball and trying to describe how happy they were with the goal he had scored a day before the earthquake happened. So it was all joy before that happened to him in Turkey. But so far, he's new at the club. He's just trying to find his feet. And I'm sure that when he recovers, more of such beautiful football will be seen from Christian Achu in the Turkish Super League.
Evans Ofosuman, so many thanks for your time, for joining us on this show and giving us insight, Phila. Let's put it that way on whatever the issue was at Turkey concerning Christian Achu, who is a Black Stars winger there. But the good news is he's been rescued. He's alive, and we will keep you updated here on City TV. You are still watching CNR Extra on City TV. Still to come. Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta warns that non-participation in domestic debt exchange program by individual bondholders will prolong efforts by government to revive the economy. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Roses are red, violets are blue, Valentine's is approaching, so get ready for Shades of Love 2. Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023 is here again. Get your shade of red or pink outfit ready. Hit up your special one and plan a night of unbelievable fun and a whole lot of love. Listening to Aquaba's back-to-back hits. Shades of Love 2023 with Aquaba will be the night to remember for all those who love love, and happening in both Accra and in Kumasi. Date on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February 2023 at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel in Accra, and on the 18th of February at Ike's Cafe and Grill in Kumasi. Tickets are going for VVIP for 400 Ghana cedis, VIP for 300 Ghana cedis, standard tickets for 200 Ghana cedis, and for table bookings and cabanas and all enquiries, kindly call 027-227-7757. Get your tickets at the
City TV and City FM, Joy FM, YFM, Accra Mall, Eliza's Restaurant, Jolu Junction, Metro TV, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023. It will be awesome. Media partners.
Powered by
Think Media Expert.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they you learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV, on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Class Act is proudly sponsored by Vodafone Ghana Foundation as part of the Kindred Partners. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's bring you some more stories. And the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has warned that non-participation in the DDE program by individual bondholders will prolong efforts by government to revive the economy. Let's bring you that insight.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has warned that exchange program by individual bondholders will prolong the efforts by the government to revive the economy. Now, addressing the nation on Monday, Ken Ofori-Atta said the prospects of international financial support and other financial assurances will be jeopardized. We have more in this report.
As part of efforts to ensure Ghana restores macroeconomic stability and secure a $3 billion bailout from the IMF, government launched the domestic debt exchange program as part of a broader response to recent macroeconomic challenges last year. Since the announcement, the program has faced stiff opposition, with groups like Organized Labour, the Minority, and the Ghana Individual Bondholders Forum raising concerns about how the program will bring frustration on investors and deprive them of their returns on investment. This pushed government to extend the deadline 4 times. Addressing the nation virtually, Finance Minister warned that non-participation in the DDE by individual bondholders will prolong efforts by government to revive the economy.
On the back of these recent developments, the comprehensive agreement of the key stakeholders and the enhancement of the DDEP, Government 1 expects the full participation of institutional stakeholders and mobilization of all qualified investors to ensure the success of the debt exchange operation. And 2, encourages eligible individual holders to voluntarily tender their holdings. Frankly, fellow citizens, non-participation or a lower than expected turnout for the DDEP will prolong efforts to resolve the current economic crisis. In addition, the prospects of international financial support and other financial assurances will be jeopardized. The development could further put strain and stress on government's capacity to honor key commitments. This is not what we want for our economy. What we want is an economy that is back on track, stable, vibrant, productive, dynamic, meeting the needs of individuals, households, and enterprises, delivering shared and inclusive growth and improving incomes and livelihoods. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the final deadline for this program, and we are hopeful that all domestic investors will participate.
He also hinted that there will be no further extensions, as Tuesday, February 7th, is the final deadline for institutions and individuals to sign up onto the domestic debt exchange program.
Tomorrow is the final deadline for this program, and we are hopeful that all domestic investors will participate. Let me restate that as a government, our singular motivation for taking this rather difficult road is to restore macroeconomic stability, achieve debt sustainability, and get the economy fully back on track. We know that these are necessary preconditions for creating jobs, safeguarding and enhancing incomes, fostering inclusive growth, and restoring hope to Ghanaians. Through collective hard work and discipline, coupled with the abiding and abundant grace of the Almighty God, we have been focused on avoiding.
So signing on to the program ends today. That is Tuesday, February 7, 2023. And the Finance Ministry has indicated, or government has indicated, that there will be no extension again as the debt exchange program expires today. Nii Lartey, what do you make of this? Though the Finance Ministry or the Finance Minister is making us believe that this is the only way, or if I put it, one of the ways for us to conclude the IMF bailout or the IMF deal. He's also saying that when this is prolonged and not concluded on time, certainly the economy will not be revived.
Well, something interesting happened this dawn when I woke up. I had received a message from my bank and reminding me that I have up to today to come and decide whether or not I am going to participate in the domestic debt exchange program. So I was like, really, the deadline is upon us, and Finance Minister yesterday indicated that there's no going to be any further extension. But Philip, interesting times ahead, if you ask me, because look, the government is well aware of the fact that if we don't go through this debt exchange properly, there will be dark consequences as far as our economy is concerned. In fact, that's what the Finance Minister is saying, that if we don't do that, it means that we are going to have some difficulties even restoring our macroeconomic stability and even getting the IMF bailout, for which reason we are, subjecting ourselves to this domestic debt exchange. But I think, by and large, the Finance Minister is not really understanding the language of, bondholders.
You think so?
Exactly, because anytime he comes and says that the terms have been reviewed, it's either the maturity date has been moved forward or the interest rate has been increased. That's the only revision we have been seeing. But this is not the language individual bondholders want, and even the pensioners who are also calling for, a complete, exemption from this particular policy. So it's really sad that the deadline is here. We've not had any proper rollout. Let me even mention the fact that, remember that report the individual bondholders and the technical committee they released when they met the Finance Minister some weeks ago, and they listed a number of activities the government must do to ensure that it can rake in some revenue and not go in for this domestic debt exchange. And mind you, yesterday when the Finance Minister spoke, I don't know if you remember how he ended. He said we should speak one language, Boame. Now, but we have not seen the Boame from government side. So? Because if you look at what the individual bondholders were calling for, they were asking for adjustment in some fiscals. They were asking for some state institutions to be,
closed down, shut down, or to be merged.
Yes, some other. And I know that the IMF, for which reason we are going in for, will ask for some debt sustainability and order. But I'm not sure they are pinpointing or pinning down the government as to
looking at what you said, the Finance Minister may not understand the language of the individual bondholders. Yesterday, the pensioners, bondholders also picketed at the Finance Ministry. Let's bring you that insert.
Many members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum picketed for an hour at the Finance Ministry on Monday morning to reiterate demands for complete exemption of their funds from the domestic debt exchange program. Now, government last week improved on the terms for pensioners to 5% maturity and 15% coupon rate, but the pensioners have rejected these terms and insist on complete exemption. Now, City News' Charles Owusu-Kumi worked with them this morning and has more.
Just gone by, the convener for the Pensioners Bondholders Association just addressed the gathering. They were here this morning to picket against what they call injustice. They just sang the national anthem because they say that the Finance Ministry is trying to rope in their pension funds. They've been asking for exemption from the DDE since its inception, but they are not getting that. And this morning they came here to picket against the decision by the Finance Ministry not to exempt them. I will try and speak to a few. What exactly are you asking from the ministry?
We want the government to have total exemption of pensioners who have invested in government bonds. We were told, I was told by my two banks, that is the safest. And I work hard and save and bought government bond. And what we're saying is that total exemption, nothing less, nothing more.
We still want very simple, total exemption from DDEP.
Even if government gives you new terms, you still want to accept?
That is the only term we understand. Total exemption. You've exempted pensioners, you've exempted pension funds. We are pensioners. Take us out. It's the same logic.
What if the government does not exempt you?
We say we'll be here tomorrow, so come and interview us tomorrow.
Very agitated pensioner bondholder who is part of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. They want complete exemption from their domestic debt exchange program, and if that does not happen, they will continue to picket here every morning until the ministry listens to their plea. What if government decides that it will not exempt pensioners?
We will sleep here. We will sleep here.
Is that even possible?
You will see it. With our mats and our coal pots, we'll come and sleep here. That the investment I made is what I used to buy my drugs. I don't have a salary. I have paid my dues. Why do you have to use my pension money? What are you doing? You say sacrifice. And it's only pensioners, a responsible person, who say that we use pensioners' money for their animal domestic debt exchange program. What sacrifice have they made? This is wickedness. What is this? And the most annoying thing is, they did not even engage us. You not ask anybody anything. My own money, the money that you have used, whatever they used it for, only God knows.
So Neil Short is the finance ministry who has just come down from his office to personally meet the pensioner bondholders. He's trying to engage them one after the other. The pensioners actually dispersed, and the minister ordered for them to be brought back so that he can personally have a word with him. And so now we'll listen to what the minister has to say.
The challenge that we have, as you all know, is that we need by the end of March or middle March to have concluded with our IMF program. This is an important part of that program for us, the debt exchange. And then we had various issues. We have therefore in this period engaged the banks and financial institutions, and I think we've come a long way in which we expect a full tendering tomorrow when the tender closes. Then we also had engagements of individual bondholders, including yourselves, and Dr. Duanani really represented you guys extremely well, because we were at a 0% interest, in which it was a 12-year, 15-year bond. Okay, so he articulated your specific issues, and we reduced it from 12, 15 years to 5 years. Okay, so that accommodating that, even though we know that over a third of you have bonds that are beyond the 5 years, as we sit today, 12 years and up. So we brought it to the 5 years, okay? Then we looked at it and said, look, on average, to be honest with everybody and everybody knowing the numbers, the return on your bonds, it's about 18.5% on average, okay? So looking at all of the categories, we say, well, these are retirees. Let's include those 59 who will be 60 this year and give them 15%. So the fight that we are presumably fighting here is the difference between 15 and 18.5%. The cost of that may be that we may not get an IMF clearance. And then your issues of inflation, capacity to pay, takes on a different hue.
In response to the minister's plea, convener for the Pensioners Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Anane Entry, explained why the terms offered by government are not good enough.
If you have 30% on your as coupon, you are now going to get 15. So half of your income is gone. If you are on 25, you are going to get 15, and almost about 40% or 45% of your income is gone. That is how it is. People who are on 20 will be losing about 5% because it's giving you 15 now. Nobody is gaining anything. Everybody is losing. Even people who are on the lowest.
And true to the words of the pensioner bondholders that they would picket at the finance ministry today, they are there, yes. And it looks like they are hoping to be there until there is a news from the finance ministry that they've been exempted from the debt exchange program. Nii Lartey, what do you make of this? Because the finance minister is saying that either by end of March or middle of March, the IMF deal should be concluded.
Exactly the point I was initially making, that I'm not too sure as to how the IMF want you to go about your debt restructuring, which has to do with this domestic debt exchange. The individual bondholders listed a number of things the government can do to get some money. We have not heard the government talk about it. All that the government is interested in is the funds of pensioners and other individual bondholders. And it is not sitting well with these people. And so for me, the finance minister thinks because he has reached an agreement, or government thinks that because it has reached an agreement with the bankers, the insurance, and the other people, it's okay. But even with them, they are even crying. Deep within them, they are saying that profitability is coming down, their money is being dwindled and all that. So, I mean, interesting days, like I mentioned to you early on. Let's see what happens by end of day.
Exactly.
Let's see if the picketing by these pensioners will really drum home their demands for them to be exempted. Because look, if you listen to them, grown-ups, yes, people who have saved just money for a lot of things, it's very problematic if their money is going to be touched.
We keep saying here, we will certainly bring you updates of whatever happens at the finance ministry, and also today being the deadline, whatever issue that is going to arise as a result of this, concerning this particular matter, we will definitely bring you the update on City TV and City FM. You're still watching CNR Extra on City TV, still to come. National Democratic Congress announces resolution of challenges following the reshuffling of its leadership in Parliament. We're back with this story.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's bring you some more stories. And the NDC, that is the leadership of the party, has indicated that challenges that came along with the reshuffling of the leadership in Parliament concerning the minority side have been resolved. Let's bring you that insight.
National Democratic Congress, NDC, says challenges confronting the reshuffle of the minority leadership in Parliament have been resolved. This comes after a meeting between the national executives, the Council of Elders of the NDC, and the Minority Caucus in Parliament to deal with the grievances that arose following a shake-up in the leadership of the group. Now, speaking to journalists after the meeting, the national chairman of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, says the concerns raised have offered the party the opportunity to establish a framework for the running of the minority caucus in Parliament. A man who has been keeping an eye on this story is Nii Ayikwe Okine. Nii, if you can hear me, what more can you tell us from this afternoon's meeting?
Following the division that arose as a result of the shake-up in the leadership of the Minority Caucus in Parliament, the Council of Elders of the NDC as well as the national executives of the NDC have engaged the leadership and the Minority Caucus of Parliament to address the concerns.
The challenges that arose out of the announcement of the new leadership of our caucus in Parliament have all been resolved. All concerns have been addressed. So we're just looking forward.
So there were issues that were raised by members of Parliament on the NDC side concerning the processes that the leadership went through before electing or probably appointing new leaders to be at the forefront of the minority side. Issues of that they wanted to resolve all that. Briefly, what do you make of this now that it has been resolved? And we go to Aikwe on the line.
As a party in waiting needs to send that right signal that indeed it's been able to put its house into order, ready to, ensure that it recaptures power from the NPP, possibly in the 2024 election, because they are saying that they are going to stop the MPP. So let's see. So if they have been able to resolve it, I hope that's it. Okay. And so it should also be a lesson that anytime they want to do something, the right consultations, deliberations must be done.
Let's go straight to Parliament. My colleague Nii Lartey, our parliamentary correspondent, to give us updates of this particular issue. If you can hear me, good morning. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, as we fix the line, this issue was a very big one when it came. You had a number of the MPs asking. We know Nii Lartey van der Poel, we know Cletus Avoka, we know even some George and other members of Parliament on the NDC side were not in support of this. They were,
and in fact,
like
I remember they giving the party an ultimatum to reconsider and rescind the decision, which did not happen. But yesterday, as Muntaka, for instance, posted on Facebook that following the intervention by former President John Dramani Mahama, he's accepted the reshuffling, the changes, and today we are picking up information that, well, the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, is in the House, exchanging some pleasantries and all that. And even that press conference the new leadership held, saying that they are going to ensure that they bring on board the old leadership so that they are able to put everything in order and even hold, Parliament and even the majority, that's the government of the day, into account. So I think this new leadership, we are looking forward to something. They should just justify, quote unquote, their inclusion, because look, their old leaders have set the pace. In fact, you know how Haruna Idrisu, Muntaka.
Well, the chairman of the party, Johnson Esedi Nketa, indicated that they should at least prove themselves.
Exactly, it's very much needed. It's very much needed, so that it doesn't give credence to the fact that people will just cast their mind back and be referring to. You see why?
I didn't want you to be true.
Exactly. So
anyway, the MPs, we have the Ningo Pram MP, Sam George. He indicated that they are going to support the leadership. Also, Dr. Dominic Aidine, he also indicated that they will throw their support behind the new leadership and ensure that they work well. This is how we wrap up today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nii Lartey. I did this with Nii Lartey, and earlier Evans Ofoshu Manso also joined us for this particular show. Keep watching City TV. Many thanks for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow.